Hi, this is John Rosenberg. I'm the CEO of Hebrew Public, the charter management organization that supports your schools. I want to start by acknowledging what a challenging month this has been since March 16th when we closed our physical school sites down. And I want to start by saying that I hope that each of you and your families and loved ones are healthy and safe. Secondly, I want to thank you. In the last month, we have distributed Chromebooks and access to technology to families of children in our schools. We've ensured that families are connected to food resources and childcare. And most importantly, we've rolled out remote instruction in ways that are among the best of what we've seen out there as we look at districts and peer charter school organizations. We've managed, with your help and your leadership and the hard work that you're doing every day, to not only provide children with access to remote learning, but to continue to provide some of our special education services, mental health, and social and emotional supports. And we've been doing a better job of all of this work, instructional and otherwise, every week. I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart for that. And also encourage all of us to continue to raise the bar each week in this new world of remote learning. What we've been doing, what each of you have been doing, really has been an incredible job of modeling our Olam values and seeing that in action, watching the kinds of services that we're delivering, the ways in which you are maintaining community with our children and families and maintaining community with each other is something that I, the Hebrew Public Board, and the whole senior leadership team are incredibly proud of. Kol hakavod. I want to make clear as well that if any of you during this time are finding that you or members of your family or loved ones are struggling with health issues, with emotional or mental health issues, or with tangible service needs, please do raise those concerns with your school leader, and if appropriate, raise them with me or members of the Hebrew Public senior leadership team. We want to do our best to take care of every member of our staff community during this time. Similarly, if the current range of services that we are providing to children and to their families is leaving some behind, if there are children whose safety or security or well-being you're particularly concerned about, please raise those issues immediately as well with your heads of school. As we look at the impact of this crisis, the pandemic, and the accompanying economic impact, it is quite clear that some people in some communities are being affected harder than others. Communities of color, rates of infection among African American and Latinx communities are much, much higher than among other populations. We've seen a rise in discrimination against Asians and Asian Americans. And the pandemic has highlighted, not that it needed highlighting, the very significant economic inequities and disparities in place in New York and around the country, in fact, around the world. And it's really important as an organization focused on global citizenship, on Olam values, and on educational equity, that we continue to provide a community that is welcoming, that is caring, and that does its best to meet the needs of those we serve, particularly as we see some of these inequities playing out in the broader society around us. I also want to provide some broader context, and I wish there were more information I could share in this regard. As of now, the governor in New York has extended school closures at least through mid-May, May 15th, but I think that it is probable that schools will stay closed through the end of the current semester, through the end of June. Funding is continuing this year, but instead of an anticipated 5.5% increase in per pupil funding next year, we're now expecting a modest decline in that funding, and possibly a more significant decline during the course of the year. The impact of the coronavirus pandemic on businesses and on individuals is profound. And when that happens, in addition to all of the other terrible things that happen, state revenue and city revenue go down. And so we are moving into a world where we're going to be seeing, I think, over the next several years, reductions in funding for education, as well as obviously a lot of other economic impacts. We don't know yet when schools will reopen. We don't know for sure that they'll reopen on time in the fall, though we're certainly hopeful that they will. There might be sporadic outbreaks post-opening where schools again have to close up for a period of time. Our hope is that things will be back to normal within a matter of weeks, if not a couple of months. And the team at Hebrew Public, working with your school leaders, are planning for ways to provide compensatory and supplemental educational services for students who really may have fallen even further behind during this period of time. We're beginning to work on all sorts of aspects of reopening and different forms of contingency planning. So as you are out there each day delivering critical services to the students in our care, we're also trying to keep our eye on what's happening 4 weeks, 8 weeks, several months down the road. I am going to be joining virtually some of your staff meetings over the next week or two. Between now and then, you are likely to have questions that I didn't address in this presentation today. Please do send them to me, jon@hebrewpublic.org. And if the questions are not of a personal nature, not relating to your own specific situation, I will do my best to address them during those all-staff meetings with each of the 3 New York schools. If you have a question that's more of an individual nature, you can feel free to raise it with me. It may be more appropriate to raise directly with school leadership. Again, stay safe. Do what you can to stay healthy. Please keep up the great work. I'm proud of each of you. And together, the Hebrew Public community will get through this. Thank you.